2, 1. Broadcasting tape delayed from Camelback Ranch in Glendale, Arizona. Why are we in Camelback Ranch today, JP? Because that's where the Dodgers have spring training because we could not afford to go to Japan to watch them play. The Sports Economy Show is on. So today's topic is all about your Los Angeles Dodgers. That's right. And their $1+ billion in deferred contracts. Our discussion today, is this a good idea or a bad idea?
What's your here? What do you think, Bill?
Here's my question. Do the Yankees do this?
All the teams do it, but not as much as
to this extreme.
No.
Every business that you've ever known, heard of, whatever, takes on debt.
Right.
They do. That's a thing.
Right.
But when you take on debt, you purchase assets that are going to be available to you in 10 years.
Right.
Not one of these players are going to be available to the Dodgers in 10
years.
No. So this is a new thing.
Well, okay. Well,
this much money.
Right. It's not exactly, yeah. So it's not exactly a new thing. Everybody has had the opportunity to do it. You know, most people forget about Bobby Bonilla.
Yeah.
That's deferring the contract. Bobby Bonilla still gets paid from the New York
Well,
Mets.
the St. Louis Cardinals are still paying Matt Holliday till 2029.
Really? Yes. I
Yes.
did not know that.
But it's only like a little bit less than $1 million a year.
Right. So that's the difference between what the Dodgers are doing and what other teams are doing, will have done. Most teams do it where they go, okay, we're going to take off some of the money, and then that little bit of money that we do take off, we'll pay you in the future. Whereas, you know, it's just a little extra, you know, spending money to most MLB players after they retire, right?
Yeah.
Well, the Dodgers have taken it to another level.
And it helps your team get a player now so you can win now.
Right. Right. Because the Dodgers have taken it to the point where they're just doing it with almost every star player on their team. And eventually it's going to catch up to them.
And some players that aren't star players. Tommy Edman.
Former Cardinal, right?
Former Cardinal, yes.
Wasn't he on the World Series team?
No.
He wasn't?
No. Cardinals hadn't been in the World Series since 2013. 2013, yes.
Really?
Really, yes.
Hey.
Yeah.
At least y'all have won.
Yes, the Cardinals have won games and won World Series. Yes, they have.
You know, we have been to the Mets have been to a World Series before y'all and more recently than y'all. But we're still clinging on 86. That's the only one we got.
Past days of glory.
We'll be back one day.
They'll be back.
One day. So anyway, basically the Dodgers have basically decided to basically pimp the system. That's what they've done. And they've basically taken it to another level.
Yep. Anyway, I've got some numbers here. Would you like to discuss these numbers?
Yeah, let's discuss these numbers you got, Bill.
We'll just start off with Ohtani.
All right.
Greatest baseball player ever. And the Dodgers are going to find out, unless, like we discussed earlier, unless they can rework these contracts later on, because they have a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
But once these players are done playing and they're still stuck with their contracts, it's a gamble. So Ohtani's going to be getting $680 million from the year 2034 till the year 2043. So whatever that averages out to be, you know, $75 million a year or whatever. That's going to go against dead money where they still have to have a team on the field, and they're paying Ohtani $75 million or so a year. Okay, win now, pay later. This is one of my favorite. Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts has $115 million in deferred contracts. He is going to be receiving that money from 2033 till 2044. In 2044, I'll be 74 years old. And he will be receiving money from the LA Dodgers. So anyway.
And Mookie will be
isn't he in his mid-30s?
60. Yeah.
Isn't he mid-30s now?
I think he's in his early 30s, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but shoot, he'll be pushing, you know, his almost in his 60s.
Yeah, still getting paid good money.
Yeah, good money.
So anyway, so Blake Snell will be getting money from 2035 to 2046.
Blake Shell's a bum.
He's a bum. Well,
No, I mean he's a good bum.
yeah.
I just don't like him.
Okay. Freddie Freeman, MVP of the World Series last year.
Yeah.
He hit a home run in every game. They were actually, the Yankees fans were holding up signs. Just sit down, Freddie. Just sit down. Just walk him. Just walk him.
As much as it pained me to see Freddie Freeman with the Dodgers, I applaud him. He's getting the money. He's,
Hey,
he'll get the money late.
When
It's fine.
when you're a great player, you're a great player. You deserve to be paid. So anyway, his contract is going to be paid 2028 to 2040. So he's getting some money, $57 million over that period of time. Will Smith is getting paid $50 million from 2034 to 2043. So these are all about in the same time. Tommy Edman is getting $25 million payable between 2037 and 2044. So they're just sending him some cash. Anyway, so what this really boils down to is for about a 6-year period, they're going to be paying $100 million a year in dead contracts, in players that don't play anymore. Unless, like you say, they can work out some deal while they're playing, like being able to trade Tommy Edman or Mookie Betts to some other team and trade this contract out.
It's going to be a lot of finagling.
There's a lot of, we're hoping this works out.
Right. And you also got to remember, unlike other sports, if this was the NFL owners, the players would be worried because honestly, if you don't get the money right away, they're going to probably cut you so they don't have to pay you. But in MLB and NBA is the same way. You when you sign the contract, you're owed that money. If you don't play, or if you have to get that money if it's guaranteed contract.
I tell you what, my favorite one of recent past is Madison Bumgarner. I watched him pitch his last game. He pitched 3.5 innings, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Next day, he was off the team with, I think, $35 million.
That's how they do it.
If
you sign the contract and they get rid of you, if they say you can't play anymore, you still owe that money. You're still owed that money. It's not like the money just goes away. And so when they defer the contracts in baseball, even if you retire, even if you are cut, even if you're not cutting it, they still have to pay you. Yeah. So eventually what's going to end up happening is, it's no different than anybody else who's like, boy, I really want that, new TV set, but I don't have the money for it.
Yeah.
So you put it on your credit card.
Put it on your credit card, yeah.
Then you put something else on your credit card. And the next thing you know, you got thousands of dollars of credit cards.
And you're paying $75 a month in charges.
Right. you're spending hundreds of dollars. You're sending $100 of payments, and it's going down about $50.
Yeah.
Right. So that's about it. The interest catches up with them, and eventually it's going to catch up with the Dodgers if they don't do some finagling. But the problem is, in order for them to keep winning, they're going to have to do that with future players. So it's a never-ending cycle. So eventually you're just going to have to get to a point.
Well, for example, just an example, in the year 2036, they're going to be paying $100 million just saying they don't work any of this out in money. In 2036, the salaries are going to be sky high. I mean,
that's what
your average starter by that time is probably going to be making $50 million a year,
right,
for a number 3 starter. So you're going to be paying, say, $350 million in salary to a current team, plus your $100 million that you've deferred. This is some stuff here,
right? Eventually, they're going to have to either, with their current team, they're going to have to restrict the amount of money that they're spending on the current team to pay the past teams.
Then you run into this, well, you're only getting second-tier players. Then the fans want to abandon you.
Right. And the fans are like, this is not acceptable for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
But
I'll use the Cardinals, for example. They signed, well, you can say one, but they signed 0 free agents this year because they have this budgetary thing that they got to keep up with, because technically St. Louis is a small market team.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah.
You know,
Because then they go for it when they got Goldschmidt and Arenado pretty much
they got those
a year
guys.
apart.
They got those guys kind of for a real bargain.
Mm.
I'll say that. Arenado, Colorado, basically sent him there and paid his salary for like 2 years.
Did they?
Yeah, and then they got Goldschmidt for a couple of minor league players. So they got a really
They had
good
to take
deal.
on his salary.
Yes, they had to take on his salary.
But the Cardinals haven't had, since Pujols was left, they haven't had
They don't
big salaries.
They haven't
right?
had any big salaries, so they've managed to play within their budgetary means.
Right.
it comes down to, who pays all this? Who pays for all this event? The fans.
It's always the fans.
The fans are the people that pay
Right.
all this. Are the people that buy the jerseys, the tickets. They pay $45 to $50 for parking, whatever it is. You, the fan, pay for all this.
Yeah. And what it's gotten, and look, not to be the old man in the room.
The old man in the room. I
I'm
remember
in my
when.
50s, but when I was a kid, we could go to Orioles games and you can get like, cheap seats for like $5.
Yeah. That's back when players had part-time jobs in the off
Right.
season. Your backup catcher had a
No,
part-time
it
job.
wasn't that long ago. It was in the 70s and 80s. But it wasn't that long ago. Well, thanks to, one of your former Cardinals.
And this is going to be a show, because
This is gonna
this
be
man
another
is
one.
a great man.
Changed the way the
Kurt
finances
Flood,
work.
baby.
Right.
Kurt Flood. And we're going to do a show about this guy.
Mhm.
And everybody should send his family $100 right now.
Everybody in Major League Baseball who gets big money
Big money.
in Major League Baseball should thank
Kurt
Flood.
Flood. Yes.
because he's the one who actually stuck his neck out. Was like, no, you're not. So, he fought the system
Yeah.
and won. And
He got nothing for it.
no,
But look at these players
but
today.
other people did.
Other people did. Yes. Yes, they did.
Thank you, Kurt Flood.
Yeah, when your team signs a reliever who pitches 5 innings a week and is getting paid $70 million, that's out there too.
But as we were saying, it all comes back to who pays for it.
The fans.
Anytime they could charge you, $30 for a program, that you don't even care about, it's going to be outdated in a few weeks. It's just the fact that they could just charge enormous amount. You can't go to the concession stands at a ballpark without spending a good for one person, $30 to $40, right?
$12 for a thing of popcorn. Yeah. Whatever. I tell you what's really tough is paying for parking.
Oh yeah.
Holy cow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's where they really
That's how
get
they
you.
get you.
And that's the city. That's not the team. That's the city that you're.
But it's all everybody's got their hands in it.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their hands in it. What I kind of wanted to talk about is one of the ways in which, like we say, it's all about the consumers that pay for it. But there are other ways in which, the Major League Baseball and the teams make money. And one of them is, we're talking about the Los Angeles Dodgers. As we're recording this podcast, tomorrow morning, they will be playing where?
The Dodgers?
Yeah.
Oh, in Japan, where we couldn't afford to go. Listen,
Well, first of all,
I've had a hard
the
time
way
trying
you
to figure it out.
say the country's name, just just is a little, but
It's meant to be that way too.
okay. So anyway, you might be like, why in the hell are Major League Baseball players going to Japan?
I got an idea.
Yeah.
Why do the NFL send teams to London?
Well,
The same reason.
right. It's all about increasing economic growth.
Yes.
The more you're out there, the more people see you, the more you expand. And you go, well, what do these people care about in Japan? They have their own baseball team. And by the way, before anybody says anything about expansion in Japan,
expansion in
People
Japan.
don't want us in Japan. It's a novelty. It's a one game thing, a one series thing. That's all they care about. They want to see the players, the worst star players in Japan, and then they can say, okay, you can go now. That's all it is. They don't want to see the Tampa Bay Rays relocated in Japan.
No.
Nobody wants to. They have their own baseball, and actually, it's very good baseball.
American players go over there every so often.
Right.
Miles Mikolas played in Japan for a couple of years.
It's the only difference. It's a different style, but the only difference is that the U.S. economically, they will spend more money on Major League Baseball players. So players from other countries will come to the United States to play because you know what? If they're going to get paid 5 times the amount of money that you get paid in Japan, why not? So that's the only reason why they do it. They have a good product. They don't want us to expand. But the reasons why MLB would do it, there's a few reasons why. One, the game airs in the United States, East Coast time, at 6 a.m. Well, that is prime time hours in Japan. So that means a ton of people are watching that game in Japan. The ratings are huge, which means commercial success, advertising success for the MLB, all the partners that they're linked with. You have American sponsors who may have a product that is in Japan, and basically they get their products out there because they're advertising in a Japanese market.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing.
The Japanese market is huge.
Right.
And the Dodgers and now the Cubs are banking on the Japanese buying merchandise.
Right. You can have sponsorships.
Yeah.
Because it's not a regular game. It's an event.
Yeah. You have Ohtani selling Toyotas in Japan wearing a Dodgers jersey.
That's right.
Yeah.
All the merchandise associated with the players, the teams. It's incredible. It's a huge thing. But the one thing that a lot of people don't know is any international game. The teams that play in the international games aren't the only teams that benefit from it. All the revenue from those games, when they have games in Mexico and all that stuff, is spread amongst the rest of the teams in the MLB.
They go straight to the league office. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they say they distribute it amongst the teams.
Yeah.
But, who knows? Somebody might make the money and be like, it's my money.
The league office gets their cut.
But that's, it's just another way of making more money, which, believe me, they're not the NFL. MLB is not the NFL. But
yeah, ESPN is not kicking the NFL off.
Right. Yeah, ESPN is kicking off baseball. Baseball doesn't have the ratings nor have the people of the interest. But believe me, they're not broke. They got a lot of money. Nobody's crying for baseball.
No, they're doing quite fine.
They're not the WNBA.
As we can tell, the Dodgers are paying a lot of money to win a World Series.
But will they win, though?
They won a World Series last year.
They won last year, but it is very hard.
It is very hard. The Yankees have proved many times over you can pay a lot of money and you can get to the playoffs, but that doesn't mean you're going to win a World Series with all that.
Right. Do you remember who won the World Series? Not last year where the Dodgers won, but the year before that?
Texas?
Yeah, good job, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Who won before that?
Is it Houston?
Yes.
No.
Well, you know what? I think that's correct.
Yes. And then the COVID years is just blurry.
Yeah.
I don't know anything
The Dodgers
about
did
that.
win in 2020. When did the Nationals win?
2019. And how do I know that? Because they swept the Cardinals in the NLCS.
But
thank you very much.
Well, honestly, I thought you may not know because the Texas Rangers.
I am a baseball fan.
When did the Texas Rangers actually get to the World Series? The last time they got to the World Series, Nelson Cruz gave your Cardinals.
That was 2012. No,
Cardinals the World Series.
That was 2011. The Texas Rangers won the World Series 2 years in a row. They were in 2010 and 2011. 2 years in a row.
Right. Nelson Cruz with the famous little league
There it
pop-up,
goes.
little league pop-up play, runs 10 feet forward and then realizes, oh, the ball's going to go over my head. And then at the final moments. Anyway.
I don't think he could have caught it anyway.
No, because he's Nelson Cruz.
Even if he was playing,
he hits homers. He does not field balls.
Even if he was playing no doubles defense like he was supposed to, and basically standing on the warning track, I don't know if he's.
I don't care what anybody says. It's the equivalent of Bill Buckner being in the lineup for the Boston Red Sox.
Can barely walk.
They wanted to let him in the game because they wanted him to be on the field when they won the World Series, and it cost them. And Nelson Cruz, notorious DH, should not have been on the field. And basically, of course, just like in Little League, it always goes to the worst fielder. And
hence the word defensive substitution.
Right. But you know what? In 86, as a Mets fan, I am grateful. And in 2011, as a Cardinals fan, I know you are grateful that Nelson Cruz was in right field that day. So anyway, that's all I got for you, Bill.
We could do a nostalgia show about how great our teams are or are not. So anyway, but that's all I got. We're going to keep an eye on. We're going to come back in 2036 when I'm 66 years old, and we're going to discuss how this is working out for the Dodgers. If YouTube even exists.
Stay tuned. Only 10 years away. 11 years away.
10 and a half years or so, if YouTube still exists.
Mark it on your calendar.
We'll be doing TikTok videos with a cane. That's all we got. All right. So remember to like and subscribe because we need a gazillion dollars so we can go to Japan and watch baseball. So long, everybody.
So long, everybody.